Yo.
What's up, guys? How are you?
What's up?
What's up, Paul? How you doing, man?
How you doing, Rob? How you doing, Blake?
Doing good.
Doing good.
So I guess this is like our studio we moved into last year. We've got this main A room area, and then we've got a B room also around the side of the building.
So the computer that we're using is a Mac Studio that has the M2 Ultra chips. It's actually been a pretty decent upgrade from us having an iMac Pro, I think it was.
Oh, the Intel ones? Apparently we used too many plugins because the sessions weren't happy. And as soon as we upgraded to this, it was insane.
Our main interfaces that we use are Apollos. We have an X6 and an X8. I think eventually we will expand because we are always adding new analog gear, which is one side contains our vocal chain, which we need 1081.
Yeah, it's a vintage one.
The TubeTech CL1B is another staple in the vocal chain that we use. Having a stereo pair of the vintage Yuri 1176s is great. I think both are 70s models, so like the LNs.
The Revision F,
the guy on top, that's a tube preamp. It's one of the best tube preamps that I think I've used.
It's called the Type MTP66. Right now, the speakers that we use the most are these ProAx.
On the right side, in this credenza, we have a lot of our newer gear. API 3124s are new. It's a great like 4-channel preamp for drums or guitar, really anything.
Yeah, very punchy.
Yeah. The distressors are fairly new as well, and those are just also like so versatile. We're using them drums, guitars.
Retro. Also another thing that's just packed with too many tubes, so if we want to add some extra stuff, which makes it great on bass, it's probably the main thing we use it on, but honestly it's great for whatever.
I forget.
John Hardy.
John Hardy, that's right.
Yeah, it's a very clean mic pre.
The SP is great too. That was the end of our stereo chain send or return really. It was running through all those guitar pedals right there.
The microcosm is one of our favorite things. It's kind of an X Factor thing where we can just run stuff through it and get all kinds of interesting textures that we added around in the songs.
We have like the computer set up to be able to output through this to reamp basically as well. So if we ever want an additional texture from anything that's not even a synth, then we can send things through that. Return to the SP, and the SP is just like another step in kind of like atmospheric, I'm gonna mess this up kind of vibe.
It's just kind of got a gritty sound.
We probably use it for its actual function the least because it's like technically a drum machine.
Yeah, we tried to use it for that, but that was like archaic. This first one right here is the CZ5000 by Casio. The computer is like MS-DOS, but some of those restrictions are what help you be creative because you're not really thinking about too much. You're just kind of like messing with it and you get a good sound. And some of these sounds have been used on huge records, so it's nice when you come across something that inspires you. And then over here we have another FM synthesizer, the reface of the Yamaha, which is based on the old DX. I love that. This over here is the Micro Korg, so we'll go to that from time to time. This is probably one of my favorite groups of keyboards that we have. Starting at the bottom is the Mellotron, classic Beatles sound used in everything from like Lana Del Rey to
If we were to pull up a patch right now, you would be like immediately recognize that you've heard this. If you like listen to Lana Del Rey at all, Korg Monopoly.
Another old synth. It's a mono synth. The weird thing about it is that you can kind of do a polyphonic thing other than just kind of weirdness, but that's what's so great about it.
Or like Phoenix would be bands that would have used this synth.
It's always a fun, like when we turn to it, everyone's always like, that's tight, we gotta put that in there. And then the Prophet 10, maybe my favorite keyboard here.
It's also the newest keyboard. The newest keyboard ends up being the favorite keyboard. You got the Roland HS80.
Probably the most useful synth in the whole studio.
I mean, it's basically Encino 106, right? All these really nice, lush, kind of 80s sounding pads that, you know, are... That was probably too loud, but... Yeah. I mean, like, think of anything that uses like synth pop or Tame Impala or dream pop or bedroom pop. Like, they all use a lot of that. This guy is the Moog 1, most expensive synth on here.
I think so. It might be.
Yeah.
Very versatile. We go through phases with the most.
The modern version of the memory Moog, which Daft Punk used a lot, an iconic synth.
Yeah, I would actually love to get an actual memory Moog instead of it, but
this guy, final kind of
exact
keyboard.
opposite.
Yeah,
It's very user-friendly. It's very modern, very recognizable. It's Dr. Dre.
it's a lot.
It's everything.
It's a lot of like 80s synth basses and like all those 80s pluck bass sounds. A lot of them were created on this guy. And I mean, Arturia has modeled actually most of these synths.
And sometimes we just use those.
Yeah, sometimes we do just use that.
Piano. There's nothing like a free piano.
Yeah, sounds pretty cool though. It's like not a clean sound, but
this thing has character. But yeah, there's a Grammy for something I had the pleasure of working on. Social Cues, Cage the Elephant, like I was lucky to be a part of it. It was one of the craziest experiences of my life. So this is the beginning of what I expect to be a lot more cheap old synths. Seem like they aren't good at first, but honestly, they're so tight. One of the coolest sounding ones in the studio sometimes. Don't be afraid. If you can't afford these really expensive ones, just buy a bunch of these old, like $300 synths and you'll find some really cool sounds.
Running that synth through any kind of guitar pedal or whatever, just like plugins, is gonna be sweet. Wurlitzer, classic electric piano. It's warm, almost like soulful sound to it that just feels immediately tasty. Yeah. The Baldwin Discover, we definitely go through some heavy phases of using this guy. Just has like, it's got like a sound that's...
I wonder how many people have actually went out and bought one just after they worked with us.
Yeah, a lot of lead sounds or maybe like organ-y chordal parts that we'll make for songs end up being this guy.
It's got a drum machine built in too, which is fun. I think this drum pattern maybe or maybe wasn't on a Gorillaz song, but I tell everybody it was.
Then we got kind of our guitar bass situation, starting with the Hofner right there.
So this is an actual 1964 Hofner that Tame Impala loves to use. You know, it's not super heavy, it's really woody sounding. It's just got a sound, left of center bass, I think.
Yeah, it's in a lot of psych rock. This is probably the other most used bass. American Professional 2 P-Bass. It's got flat wounds on it. So does the Hofner actually, and we just love the sound of flat wounds, so that's typically what we go to. This is the Silvertone.
It's from the 70s, the old Sears guitar.
Yeah. Beck likes to use these bad boys a lot. Next we got the Gold Top Les Paul. It's got the humbuckers, so anytime you need something that's got a little more output, just want like that heavier kind of rock and roll-y tone to your guitars, that's a good one to go to.
That's our friend's guitar. That's a full hollow body, but it's got a sound and it's a really cool sound.
This is Eric Kanata's guitar from Young the Giant. Yeah, we have this like Epiphone Firebird 2, another humbucker. Might be switching this one out. The Nash Strat, which what year was this modeled after?
A 64 also,
64.
Which is like if you tried to buy a real Strat that was a 64 and it was in good condition, that would cost you like $20-something thousand. So, and he does a really good job at these kind of like vintage style guitars. This one's our favorite. This is a Jazzmaster by Bill Nash, and it's my favorite guitar that we have. So
this is our live room drum kit over here. It's a 1969 Ludwig downbeat and a super classic, I think. So it's like a super beat.
Yeah.
We like to use darker sounding crashes and rides. We actually got hooked up by our friend Sam.
It's like one of the best drummers ever.
Yeah, from Lovely the Band. The mics that we'll use on it. 421 Sennheiser on the kick. It's a great kick mic, great for toms, great for a lot of things, just a lot of like low end. Top of the snare you'll see it's a Sennheiser 441.
It is an amazing vocal mic. It's an amazing acoustic guitar mic. It's an amazing snare mic. You could use it for every mic on the drum kit and the drum kit would sound cool.
On the snare bottom, just to get the, we have a KM184, which are actually
it's like a stereo KM84.
Yeah. And our overheads, we'll usually use like the Coles.
Yeah, the Cole 4038, which is also a very versatile ribbon mic. We have all these different kinds of mics that we were very calculated in which ones we wanted in the studio because they all do very different things.
Mostly our drum setup, we'll kind of play with this 251 that's part of our vocal mic.
95% of the time using the Telefunken 251. This is a reissue. A really nice vintage one probably sounds a little bit better than this. But the new ones, consistently sound amazing. So,
and then we have like a little side rig here that we actually use for just like editing, or if somebody wants to come in here and track themselves while we're working in the main room. It's just like a nice little satellite rig that, you know, can keep us more productive on days that like, you know, at one point, like Rob might be in the other room mixing and I'll be in here like editing a vocal, or, you know, just whatever is necessary. The Bryson 4B and NS10s, it's like a pretty classic speaker monitor setup. Basically the live room, natural light, pretty awesome.
And we did all the treatment on the walls in here, so it's tuned to be really, really dead. So it's not a really like live sounding room, but that was sort of intentional. For vocals, I think I prefer it that way, and for drums, it gives you that really tight, like 70s style of drum sound, which if we want to liven it up, we can get creative and do other things, but generally that's our favorite way to start.
Then over here we have a couple of more acoustics. This is a Martin here and slightly broken nylon string Yamaha, which we got to fix. And then behind the door, there's actually this really cool California blonde.
Kind of like a PA amp, but we stumbled across it as a bass amp that was being used by Nothing But Thieves a lot, and we were referencing them for a project we were working on, and their bass sounds are really cool. And
shout out Dom, who's the guy who does all those tutorials.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for coming with us along this tour. We're happy to have you, and you know, hopefully, we'll see you in real life someday.
Come visit us in Encino.
Yeah.
All right.
So see you later.